welcome to my contest entry to Dr. Hassline's first ever giveaway, and what a giveaway it is. Absolutely incredible. He's giving away 3 prizes that are just phenomenal, like 2 great steelbooks and 1 amazing box set, all of which I would love to have, so that's one of the reasons I'm entering this, and also just to get the word out there of his channel a bit more. I really feel like he deserves a lot more subscribers. I've said this before in the past, I'm sure. I have some recollection, I must have mentioned him in some video before, but the amount of attention to detail he puts into some of his videos, the little intros that he puts together, and he has, again, attention to detail, and just these little tiny things he does in his videos that are really kind of aesthetically pleasing to me when I watch him, and I love his videos. I still can't figure out his Facebook page though. For some reason, I can like it, but I can't comment on anything, and I can't like anything. There's something really odd going on there. I'm not quite sure what that's all about. The contest finishes on the 28th of February, the end of this month, so you've still got time to get your entry in, and go check out his channel, enter the contest, and be in for a chance to win some great prizes. Now he asks us to answer 3 questions. The first one is, what's your favourite film trilogy of all time? This is a really tough one. There's so many great ones out there. The Dark Knight trilogy, which I love, the original Star Wars trilogy that I love, Back to the Future. I mean, there's some fantastic trilogies out there. Although in this day and age, it really seems like trilogies are dying out, and it's more becoming the franchise. You know, they don't want to stop at number 3; they want to keep going. For me, you know, as it is right now, my favorite trilogy would probably be the Before trilogy, Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, and Before Midnight. They're just 3 amazingly well written and acted films that have more of a personal touch and more of a personal connection than some of the other bigger trilogies that I still love. But you just look at the 3 films that I would give 10 out of 10 across the board. I love all of them. They're all great for very different reasons even. They don't really, I mean, Richard Linklater and Julie Delpy and Ethan Hawke, they didn't try to recreate what they did in 1995 when they made a sequel to Before Sunrise, and they didn't try to recreate what they did in the previous 2 films when they made Before Midnight. Each film is different while still being the same and being true to the characters, and again, just the writing is just incredible. It's my favourite film trilogy for sure. Even though I don't really see it as a trilogy, it's more of an anthology, I feel, and I hope they do make another one. The second question is, what is a movie that you think defines the 80s? There's a lot of them, you know, that I think are just dripping with 80s. Movies like Ghostbusters, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, The Breakfast Club. I think John Hughes has a big kind of stake in the 80s movie landscape. But for me, the movie that most sums up the 80s, or at least the film I always think of when I think of 80s movies, is Back to the Future. I mean, just the music, you know, the power of love and all that, the way Marty McFly dresses, and even though the film mostly takes place in 1955, it still reminds me of the 80s so much. And yeah, I guess you could look at it and really say it's not really about the 80s at all, but just something about Back to the Future, and I guess the phenomenon that kind of came out of the film itself in pop culture. You know, how big and popular Back to the Future became, and then of course the sequel came in 1989. So yeah, for me, Back to the Future is a film that really sums up the 80s. Well, it doesn't sum up the 80s, but for me, it's just one of those films that it's just the #1 film I think of when I think classic 80s movie. And then the final question is, what is your favourite sequel to a horror film? I'm quite partial to the Nightmare on Elm Street series, but I think a lot of them are not that great. I'm not a big fan of 2. You know, I mean, I enjoy all of them, but you know, I don't think a lot of the sequels are great. I think the first one's brilliant, but they really tail off a little bit and get a bit too comical for my liking. But my favourite sequel out of that series, and I guess because I'm not really a big horror fan, I guess it's my favourite horror sequel, is Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which is unofficially Nightmare 7. But it's like a meta film. It is about the actress Heather Langenkamp, who played Nancy in the original film, dealing with the fame of being in Nightmare on Elm Street. And you know, Robert Englund is in this film as himself. I forget the guy's name, something Saxon, who plays her father in the original film. He's in it also. And I love, it's just brilliant how it all works out. I mean, I think you got Harvey Weinstein in this film as well. Someone from New Line is in this film, and it's so well done. You know, Wes Craven. I love that scene where he's sitting down and looking at the script on his computer, and just the way it goes dark, because it gets dark because you get a real, more of a threatening, sinister Freddy Krueger than we got in the previous films, because it's not supposed to be the film version, it's supposed to be a real version. It's a weird kind of mix, but I really like how it works, and I really enjoy, especially towards the end, when Heather finds that things are starting to mirror what happened in the movie, and there's a conversation she has with her dad, or the actor who played her father in the first film, and they're sitting on a bench, I think, and as they're having a conversation, it's like it's kind of lines from the first movie, and it's all becoming the lines between reality and fiction are blurring, and I love the film. I think it's a fantastic movie, and definitely my favorite horror sequel, I think. So there you go. Those are my answers to the questions. It would be great to be in a chance to win, but either way, someone or three people are in for some great prizes, some great Blu-rays, very generous giveaway by Dr. Hassler and Kevin, and yeah, go check him out. He's awesome. Thanks for watching.
He says he's really cool, but I think he's a tool. Even though I'm sure he's a quite nice guy, really. He's a quite nice guy, really.